we're only talking about Pokemon today. That's it. We're not talking about anything else. Just Pokemon. Everything else is off limits. Nothing else. Today is what is it? Pokemon Go Tour Day? Is that it? Pokemon Go Fest is starting today, so I'm probably gonna be going out, doing that, playing some Pokemon Go after I record this. As I'm recording this, that it's Pokemon Go Day, not the day that it releases. But yeah, only talking about Pokemon and Pokemon related things today for this episode. If you have a problem with that, you can leave. You can leave. Yeah, I don't know. If you can't already tell, I like Pokemon. I love Pokemon. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. That is today's episode. Make sure you like and subscribe for more. This is Todd with the Nothingcast, and I don't know if I ever gave Pokopia a rating. I know I talked about it on a previous episode, but I don't know if I ever gave it an official rating. And if I did, I'm sorry, I have dementia. What am I hearing? Someone's mowing the grass as I record. I always choose the perfect time to record these fucking things. And the neighbors, I don't know, maybe doing some weed whacking or something. I don't know. Yeah, Pokopia is 9 out of 10. That's the highest rating I give. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's a great game. That is really loud. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but yeah, that's really loud. I hope that goes away here soon. It's very hot out too. I'm only a few minutes in and I'm starting to sweat bullets, but yeah, Pokopia is really good. If you have a Switch 2 and you don't already have it, I know shit's expensive, but certainly give it a try. One of the big things, and I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but the whole basic story of the game is that all the humans went somewhere and only Pokemon are left on the planet. And your goal is to find out, get all the Pokemon together and find out where the human went, and humans, plural, went. And just a bit of a spoiler alert for you. I'm going to spoil the game right now, right here. So plug your ears, close your eyes, go la 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 la. They went to space. The humans all went to space. And the big question is, why? Why did the humans go to space? I don't know if that answer is in the game, per se, but hold on. Why did humans space in Pokopia? Had to flee the Earth because of climate disasters. Okay, well, I think that's a load of shit. I think I have a bit of a game theory here for you. I think I know why the humans left. And to discuss it, we got to go back. All the way back. So, if you're anywhere near familiar with Pokemon as I am, you will notice that there are two major themes that have been around in these games for quite some time. And those two themes are people messing with forces that they cannot control and cannot understand, and invasion. All the way back in the first games, plural, red and green and blue, you see that Team Rocket decided to get a bunch of scientists together and create a clone of a Pokemon called Mew, a very powerful Pokemon. And they decided to clone it, and they wanted to use that clone as a weapon. That clone would go on to be known as Mewtwo. And what Mewtwo did is it destroyed the lab and basically went on a rampage. It was uncontrollable. Humans decided that they knew more about these creatures than they actually did, and it backfired. There's definitely someone mowing their lawn. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. I don't really have... I kind of only have this time to record, so now I'm like... You know what? Not only is it the Pokemon episode, it's the lawnmower episode. Put your headphones in and mow your fucking lawn while you listen to this. Okay? Get some shit done. Give me 1 second. I'm back. I had a word with the neighbors. I got up in their face and I said, "Now you listen to me. Now you listen to me. I'm working on something. I'm working on it." And they said, "Okay, well, tell me." No, I went. I waited for a bit. I played some Pokemon Go for a bit. Did some raids, caught some Pokemon. And now there's nothing going on, nothing crazy. You won't hear a lawnmower in the background, hopefully. Yeah, what was I talking about? I don't know. It's been like 2 hours, so I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to get adjusted back in my chair here. What was I talking about? Oh, I remember. I remember where we were. Okay, so. Do I remember where I was? Yes. Mewtwo went on a big shebang and became this problem that humanity clearly couldn't, handle, right? So, going forward a bit, nothing like that goes with those two themes I talked about really happens in Gold and Silver. Just some more Team Rocket shenaniganry. But going forward into the third gen, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, you have the situation where this one guy and his group want to increase the landmass, and this other guy and his group want to increase the ocean mass. So what they do is they awaken these land and sea deities named Groudon and Kyogre. And shocker, once again, they can't be controlled. These borderline gods that shaped the planet cannot be controlled, and they hate each other. So now they're fighting, and it's up to the player to summon another deity, Rayquaza, another legendary Pokemon, to, stop their fighting. So, once again, people trying to control things that just can't be controlled. Now, I'm going to bring it up now, but we'll get into it later. Deoxys. Deoxys is our first real alien invader Pokemon in this whole theme. So in a way, it kind of sets the tone for things to come, but it really isn't. It really wasn't a big deal at the time because it was like an event Pokemon, so a whole lot of people couldn't get it. But sorry, I also had a massive pizza before I got back, so if I'm a little gassy, that's why. Um, yes. So Deoxys sets the tone for this invasion stuff that we'll get in here. Well, actually, right now. So in the next series of games, you have Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. This guy Cyrus and his group Team Galactic, they want to create a new ideal world, whatever that means. I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've played those games, but essentially, what Team Galactic and Cyrus do is they get a hold of two legendary Pokemon, Dialga and Palkia, which control time and space. So, once again, you have a situation where these scrubs get a hold of borderline deities. Does it end well for them? No, it doesn't. In the process of trying to, I don't know, create a new world, a third legendary hits Team Galactic, and that legendary is Giratina. Now, Giratina is a legendary Pokemon that was banished. It was banished to another dimension, and it returned because of the, I don't know, the cracks in time and space that was created by Palkia and Dialga. But this is really the first time that we've had an unknown force invading and causing havoc in this general world. I say the first time because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen several times. Next is Gen 5, Pokemon Black, White, Pokemon Black 2, and Pokemon White 2. And honestly, there really isn't a lot to say that I remember. My memory's horrible. Regarding these two themes. But, sorry, I lost my train of thought. There's a lot going on in my head at the moment. This is going to be an episode with a lot of rambling, so I hope it's coherent when I go back through and listen to this. Gen 6, Pokemon X and Y. Once again, we have a group of people led by a guy who wants to change the world, so he tries to control the Pokemon of life or the Pokemon of death, depending on what game you play. It doesn't go well, shocker. That plan is foiled. And we kind of see the repercussions of those actions in Pokemon Legends ZA. But for what I'm talking about, I'm just going to put Legends ZA on the side because that game is a can of worms. Like, there is a lot to talk about in that game specifically that is, that's a whole conversation in of itself. So we're going to go ahead to Gen 7 with Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon, which is another can of worms, because this is the game that kind of proved the theory that the Pokemon games take place within a multiverse of sorts, parallel universes, which is another can of worms. I'm not going to get into that today. But Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is where we see this. It's where we see a lot of what we've already seen sort of come together in one place. We have this group, the Aether Foundation. They want to capture these uh, alien creatures called Ultra Beasts, which are very strange Pokemon. And in the process, they cause an invasion. They cause an invasion of Ultra Beasts to hit this region, and it doesn't go well, as per usual. And that's in the Sun and Moon version. In the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon versions of this event, things get even worse. When Lusamine of the Aether Foundation opens the Ultra Wormhole, and Sun and Moon, just Ultra Beasts come out. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I say... Sorry, I had a brain freeze. In Sun and Moon, when Lusamine opens the portal, you get, Nihilego, which is like this jellyfish creature that basically, it's a body snatcher. And the thing about the Ultra Beast is that I don't remember whether or not this was confirmed, but it's the themes of the Ultra Beasts are a combination of invasive species, like, invasion, and alien movie tropes. So these jellyfish things called Nihilego are body snatchers. They take control of people's brains and make them do stuff for their own purposes. And thus, more Ultra Wormholes open in the Sun and Moon. The Sun and Moon, what's the word? Not timeline. Continuity. In the Sun and Moon continuity, more Ultra Wormholes get opened up because of this Nihilego event. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, what comes from the Ultra Wormhole is so much worse. Instead of Nihilego, what comes through is this Pokemon known as Necrozma, and it has a grudge, a very massive grudge. Necrozma used to be a very much a stronger, more powerful Pokemon, which we see called Ultra Necrozma. And it was basically a being of pure light that ate. It ate light. So Necrozma comes out of the Ultra Wormhole with a grudge. It starts opening up more wormholes. And depending on the game you play, it absorbs the legendary Sun Pokemon Solgaleo, or the legendary Moon Pokemon Lunala, and thus forth becomes Ultra Necrozma. But once again, we have a situation where people who don't understand what they're doing create this problem. And this time around, we also have the problem sort of creating this invasion of these forces of just unfathomable power. Going back a bit to the Gen 3 stuff, if we look at Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, in the post-game for that game, we realize there's a meteorite heading to Earth. It's heading to Earth, it's going to collide, it's going to destroy everything. So the player and Rayquaza have to team the legendary Pokemon that I talked about earlier, the one that stopped Groudon and Kyogre from fighting. Rayquaza and the player ride up into space. They destroyed a meteor, but inside the meteor is that initial alien Pokemon I talked about, Deoxys. These events, although they're not repeating themselves necessarily, they are rhyming. The same things keep happening in different ways with different results. Pokemon Sword and Shield, that's Gen 8. Once again, a group of people discover this thing. I'll call it a thing for now. Spoiler alert, it's another legendary Pokemon. But this guy, Rose, and his group learned that in 10,000 years, their region is going to run out of energy completely. So their solution to this is to gain energy from this thing, which has an unlimited amount of energy, which, like I said, it's a legendary Pokemon. It's basically a battery, an infinite battery, and that Pokemon's called Eternatus. And as you go through the game, you learn, once again, this came from somewhere else. Eternatus is not a Pokemon that came from Earth. It seemingly crashed to Earth thousands of years ago and has been laying dormant for who knows what reason. Next is Legends Arceus. And in Legends Arceus, we actually have a bit of a sort of a reversal of themes. Because instead of a Pokemon coming from somewhere else and ending up somewhere else, we have a person. That's the player you play as. The player you play as is from... I don't know when exactly Legends Arceus takes place, but the player comes from the future and is sent to the past for whatever reason by the deity Pokemon Arceus. But once again, these themes are repeating themselves. Not repeating, rhyming. Which gets us to the most recent games, other than Legend ZA, which I said is a can of worms. But Scarlet and Violet, you have this professor who wants to see either, depending on the game, they want to see either... It's hard to explain because a lot of people, including myself, don't fully understand what exactly happened. But this professor creates a time machine to see Pokemon from either the past or the future, depending on what game you play. However, it isn't really a time machine. A lot of people miss that. It's not really a time machine so much as it is a reality bending device. It is creating Pokemon that don't exist. These Pokemon are called paradox forms, paradox Pokemon. They are Pokemon that, from an evolutionary standpoint, should not exist. And I mean, you see that with one of the paradox forms. You actually see this with a lot of paradox forms on the ancient side of things. There's a few that are based on the legendary beast Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, which we know were created by the Pokemon Ho-Oh. So the fact that there is ancient versions of these Pokemon is a historical impossibility. There's another paradox form called Sandy Shocks, which is a paradox form based on Magneton, which is a man-made Pokemon. There should not be ancient forms for these relatively recent Pokemon. It's not possible. It's a paradox. So, this machine goes off, and a bunch of these Pokemon are created, and they're basically... Once again, they're uncontrollable. They just do whatever they want, and basically the whole area that they were summoned in is sealed off, because it's not worth dealing with. But where does that get us with Pokopia? Now, the initial explanation is a climate disaster, which is possible. I said it was bullshit earlier, but the more I thought about it, based on the stuff with, Kyogre and Groudon and them basically creating landmass and creating more ocean and basically causing these massive storms, that is possible. But it further leads me to my conclusion that the reason that humans left Earth in Pokopia is because of the Pokemon. It has been shown time and time again that people think they can control these forces that they cannot control, and it always backfires and blows up in their face horribly. So that's probably what happened with Pokopia. Now, what exact event caused humans to leave, it's hard to say. But it was definitely something, in my opinion, that was caused by Pokemon. I don't think there's any other way around it. And I think that's fun. And I think it's interesting that I can sit here and ramble about the themes and the implications of a series of games. There's a lot of games that do that, but like obviously the Kirby series does it. The Hollow Knight series does it. A lot of games that I like do it, but it's fun that not one of the largest franchises on the planet can do this, because I think there's a lot of large franchises that don't do it, that are kind of uninteresting. But it just goes to show that there is a level of care that goes into the series when it comes to creating a story. And I'm very excited to see what the story of the next games will be coming out, which, speaking of the next games, I've heard an insane rumor that they're going to be adding like around 300 new Pokemon in the next game, which is crazy. For those who don't know, like the average of new Pokemon added per generation is like between 100 and 150. So the fact that that number is practically doubled is insane. And it's not proven yet. I honestly think it's probably not true. But I also thought that the leaked megas for Legend ZA weren't true, and I was wrong about that. So I think it's interesting to stop and think about it, because it's exciting. I'm very excited for these new games to come out. I always have fun with Pokemon, even with the gripes I have with, I don't know, whether or not games come out completed. I do always enjoy playing through them and having a good time. So I can't complain too much. I'm also just heavily biased because I've played Pokemon my entire life, you know? I mean, I remember getting my Game Boy taken away. I don't know why I got it taken away, but my mom put it on top of the fridge. I was like, I want to play Pokemon. I want to go Safari Zone, which is, they need to bring back the Safari Zones, man. I don't think they ever could in a modern game, but the Safari Zones were fun as fuck. That and gambling. You could gamble in the early games. You can go to a casino and just hit the slots. Can't do that anymore. I think it's kind of a fucking cop-out. I think that modern day allows kids to gamble in ways that it's not called gambling. So if you can do that, you can just put gambling in games. You know, what is opening Pokemon cards if not gambling? I have a horrible gambling addiction. That's what Pokemon cards is, man. But I remember seeing the Game Boy on top of the fridge and just climbing up and getting it. And I remember going to the Safari Zone and going up to my mom and be like, "Mom, I cut the Rhyhorn." She's like, "Oh, you little shit." There was really nothing that could stop me. The autism flowing through my veins was just like a magnet to Pokemon. It's one of those things that just can't be undone. I mean, even when I get in trouble for it, I think I might have told this story before, but I'm gonna tell it again because I think it's a funny story. I went to church camp once, and I took a Pokemon book with me, and I think it was like, I don't know, free time or something, so I was reading it, and this one gangly old man came up to me and chastised me for reading it, basically telling me that I'm a sinner because I'm reading Pokemon. And even at the time, when I was a kid, I was one of those people who, like, basically, believed anything that was told to me. I was gullible as shit. But even at the time, I was like, dude, you are wrong. I know more about this subject than you. Me, 10-year-old me, was like, you're a fucking idiot. You think Mewtwo is Satan in disguise? What the hell are you talking about? I think it's crazy that, I don't know. I think that the whole, it doesn't have, I don't think it's still a thing. If it is still a thing, I haven't seen it. But the whole Pokemon is the devil argument is just silly. I think I think it's one of those things where a group of people doesn't understand something, so they think it's bad, but they don't want to understand it also because it's bad, because they don't understand it. It's just this giant um it's just a giant cycle, and I see that I that's a cycle that still happens today. I just don't know if it happens with Pokemon specifically because I think a lot of, like, when you're playing Pokemon Go, I see a lot of, like, churches that are just like Pokestops and gyms and whatnot, and it's pretty crazy that we got from point A claiming that Poliwhirl is hypnotizing your children into wanting to commit murder to point B where, is my mic working? Okay, I think it's working. I don't know. My mic's been being weird. I don't know if I I hope I have this, like, set up correctly and it's not being difficult. But we got from point A thinking that Pokemon was this horrible, terrible thing to point B where it's mostly accepted. I mean, it kind of, it's not going away. But yeah, it is pretty crazy how things like that will happen. I really I've been looking at some of the new Pokemon Lego sets that are coming out. Um, Legos in general have just been expensive as shit. It's kind of sad, but I definitely really want the Lego Rayquaza and the Lego Munchlax that are coming out. Those look sick as fuck. They look fucking sweet. They look fucking sweet. Um. Uh. Oh, 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 oh. But yeah, I think I like Pokemon, and if you've never given it a try, you know, give it a try. You know, I think Pokemon Go's a good place to start if you want to. Um, I think I'm gonna end it for the day. I think I really rambled on. I managed to do what I set out to do. I talked about nothing but Pokemon for an entire episode. I think I deserve a Mountain Dew and a Siggy. You know what I'm saying? Mountain Dew, Vivid Voltage, and Marlboro Reds. Yee yee, brother. Um, Let me know in the comment what is your favorite Pokemon. I I have a lot of favorite Pokemon. I like Garchomp. I like Sableye. I like Goodra. I like Tauros. I like Toxtricity. I like Corviknight. I like, yeah, I have a lot of Pokemon I like, but I want to know what Pokemon you like. So let me know down in the comments what is your favorite Pokemon. And you know what? I'll see you all in the next episode. The next episode will not be a Pokemon episode. So if you've been in agony over this episode, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you are a bum. I'll see you later.